Good morning, everybody. We're going to give it about 2 more minutes to allow people to join the webinar, and then we'll get started. Panelists, if you could share your screen so we can see your smiling faces, we're going to get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a wonderful session with Strayer University. As you all know, we are continuing to seek partnerships with different universities to allow our learners to continue their education. Lots of options here to be able to transfer credits or to be able to complete your program and then attend a program at Strayer. So we're really excited to work with the Strayer team. We also have some of our team members available for questions, or just so you know who you can go to if you've got questions. I think Sandra, who is our manager of admissions and the registrar team, is joining us today. And Jamie Beth, who many of you know, is our manager of the learning success team. And Nicole, which maybe not all of you know, but all of these people are here to support you. When you're interested in moving to Strayer, we can give you some information to make that possible. But now let's start the star of the show. I'm going to introduce Ben Sibley from Strayer, and he and his team will introduce themselves.
Well, thank you, Kathy. Thank you. Star of the show. Wow, that was a great introduction. I appreciate that. So I have had the pleasure of meeting Kathy, Nicole, and the Nexford team, and just couldn't be more impressed with the university you have. I'm honored to be here in front of all of you today. And hopefully we have some great information for you that will be interesting. We have a chance for you to ask questions, which you can do at the bottom as we go along. And we're going to give you a little taste of Strayer University. So let me get started and then we'll introduce as we kind of pass on with the different team. So if you could go, Shreen, to the next slide. A little bit about Strayer University. It has been around since 1892. So it's over 130 years of serving students, focused on helping our learners better their lives. And that's kind of a key mission. That's why we come to work every day. We work on having both the technological skills along with the soft skills to achieve what we call economic mobility, which is a way for our learners to better their lives. So we have Ross and MK, and I just thought of this theme that all of us have actually also attended Strayer University. So we were here, we loved it, and then we came on board. So that's a great testimonial. And specifically, we have focused on supporting international learners. We've had over 3,000 international learners attend Strayer, and frequently I get the question, well, where is there one country you focus on or one area? And really, we support learners from all different countries. So let's go to the next stream. And we can talk a little bit more about options, but this is probably one of the key takeaways. So there's many universities that have, one campus where you maybe will go to one specific place and live in that area. One of the advantages, which my friend Ross is going to talk through, is we have 6 different major metropolitan areas where you can live, where we have different campuses. So Strayer has different campuses in different locations, as well as a very robust online program with, you can see some of the different focuses on the screen, but there's business and IT. Really, the skills that we teach are things that you can apply to almost right away to your roles, to your jobs, to help you achieve economic mobility and really better your life. So we have online undergrad programs, we have online grad programs, and then we also have these metropolitan areas where we can talk about if you do want to come and live near them as a learner. All right, let's keep going, Sharon. All right, so now it is with my great pleasure. I have to introduce as well as Kathy. She did a great job. She said the star of the show. I'll pass it to another. We have MK and Ross as stars of the show, but I will pass it to the admissions leader from Strayer, MK. Please take it away.
Thank you, Ben. So Ben graciously started to go over the wonderful aspects of Strayer University and the programs we offer here. But most importantly, I think we're here today to talk about you. So when you start your journey with Strayer University, you're going to be working with our admissions team. And we want to know all about you. We want to hear about your journey at Nexford. And we also want to hear about your goals. What are your goals? Where do you want to go? What do you professionally want to achieve? What's going to happen once you receive these degrees? What's it going to mean for you, and what's it going to mean for your family? That's really, really important, so we can make sure we're finding the best program to help you walk towards your path to success. So once you start working with that admissions officer, and we get to know you and we get to understand where you want to go in your professional career, we're going to start the admissions process. So we'll have you complete an application. We'll make sure that we're working with you on getting your transcripts from Nexford. We'll work on getting an evaluation done. And then we're going to figure out, where do you want to study your program? Do you want to study your program in home country? Or do you want to come to the United States, where Ross is going to talk about the locations where you could enter in at and attend school? And we'll work through that paperwork and that process to make sure everything's complete, so you can focus on what's most important once classes start, which is your education and your future. And once we get those credentials and that paperwork and that administrative paperwork done, we're going to get you through and get you started in your classes. Sharon, if we could go to the next slide. But before we talk about our scholarships, I do want to talk about what it means to be a Strayer University student. So as Ben mentioned, I am the leader for our admissions department, but I'm also a proud graduate of Strayer University, like Ben mentioned. And going to school and having a family and a working full-time job was not easy, but Strayer University made it possible with its flexible online classes and support that our professors, our faculty, our team provided us. So with every single class that I took and every single discussion that I was a part of, I felt empowered and I felt smarter and I felt braver that I actually could be a successful student, and I needed it. I needed to make myself more marketable. I needed to develop those skill sets to be successful, and Strayer University gave me the possibility to gain those skills. And I had to tell you, I've gotten 6 promotions since graduating from Strayer University, which I'm very, very proud of. And I had to tell you that my children got to come to my graduation, and I asked my daughters, Molly and Kate, what they were proud of. And they said, Mom, watching you walk across the stage and receive your diploma. How powerful is that, that my children got to see me hold a piece of paper that enabled me to become a better version of myself. And that's what we're here to help you do, become the best version that you could possibly be. And we know that when you go to school, school is an investment. It costs money. So we want to make it as cost effective as possible. And because we have such a strong relationship and a respected relationship with Nexford, we have a special scholarship that we're only offering our Nexford students. And that's 50% off your tuition at Strayer University. Now, why is this so important? So for an undergraduate class, each class costs $1,525. But because you went to Nexford University and now you're going to be coming to Strayer University, your undergraduate class only costs $762. Now, if you're going to one of our graduate programs, it's $2,985. But again, because we have this special relationship with Nexford, your class will cost $1,492. Again, we understand that it's an investment to go to school. We understand it's an investment when you're trying to go towards your goals, but we want to make it as realistic as possible, as cost-effective as possible for you to be able to go to school. If we could go to the next slide. But we're not done there when we're offering that cost savings. We have more. So we have what's called the graduation fund. So for example, if you're going for an undergraduate degree or graduate degree, for every 3 classes you take, we're going to take that 4th class and we're going to bank it to your end of your career. So the end, your senior year at school with us. And you can earn for an undergraduate degree 10 classes at no cost to you, which will save you 25% additional on top of that scholarship of savings. And if you're a graduate student, we offer up to 2 classes. This provides you more cost savings, again, making it realistic for you to be able to go to school with us. If we could go to the next slide. And then lastly, if you're going for your undergraduate class, we have no cost to you general education classes with our third-party affiliate, Sophia. So Strayer University is a part of a big family of an educational system. Sophia is one of the many partners that we have at Strategic Education. And what's so wonderful about that, it's a self-paced class that you could take at no cost to you. This gives you the ability to take classes when it fits your schedule throughout your quarter at Strayer University for an undergraduate degree or during our breaks, because we have 4 quarters a year. What's special about it, it's self-paced, no cost to you, and it speeds up your education if you have time to fit it into your schedule and you successfully pass those courses. It's going to speed up your education, it's going to provide you more cost savings, and it gives you the flexibility to add this into your daily routine if time allows. If you could go to the next slide. And then lastly, we want to make sure that when you are a student, you are able to be successful in your classes. It doesn't mean anything if we do all the paperwork and then you get in a class and then it becomes too much. So we want to make sure that you have the ability to be successful as possible. I always say you could be an A student, a 4.0 student, as long as you're raising your hand and you're telling us when you need support from us. Some things that we have is OPT for our international students. We have as designated school officials. We actually have 2 that are there to support you through your journey to make sure all paperwork is done. So again, you could focus on your education and all that paperwork is correct and is taken care of. We provide the transcript evaluations. Once you provide those transcripts to us, we take on the cost of getting that evaluated for you. In addition, when you start your classes, we have additional resources. So we have 24-hour tutoring 7 days a week at no cost to you. As a student myself and somebody that was very bad at math, my father was a math teacher, so don't tell him, I would be able to log on to these online tutoring sessions. Somebody would work with me through each step of the problem that I was having difficulty in, and they were able to get me on track where I felt confident going into my class the next time. They have somebody that's able to help you with your papers. They go line by line in your paper to make sure that it makes sense. So when you hand it in, you feel secure that you're handing in a good paper that's going to give you a great grade. We have a virtual career center, so we help with resume building. And we also have campus lounges and Wi-Fi for you to be able to do your work if you're choosing to come to our campuses. Again, we have every resource to be successful, for you to be successful in get great grades in your class, you just have to raise your hand and ask for support, and we'll be here with you holding your hand every step of the way until you get to that graduation stage and you walk across to earn and get your degree. And we're going to go to the next slide, please, Shereen. So Ross, I'm going to hand it over to the next superstar. You are up, my friend.
Well, thanks, Mary Kate. I appreciate that warm introduction. And hello, everyone. My name is Ross Bogash. I think it's important for me to tell you what I do here because you're probably going to see a lot of me and hear from me. So what I do here at Strayer is I help lead and provide the best on-ground experience for those of you interested in taking classes at any of our dedicated on-ground campuses, as you see here on the screen. So as you can imagine, your experience means the most to me. So as you can see on the screen, we do have designated campuses within the following metro area locations. I myself am located in Atlanta, Georgia. We do have campuses in the Dallas area, Houston, Texas, Miami, Philadelphia, and Washington. So as you are looking at opportunities to take classes on ground, you have your options here available to you. Next slide, please. What I think is important, as always, as Mary Kate was talking about, is dedicated support at every step. We understand that each of you are unique and require that personalized attention. And that's why we have dedicated advisors to be there for you to answer any questions you might have, because you're going to have questions. And we want to make sure you have everything at your fingertips to make the most informed decisions at any time. Next is I would say our best in class faculty. We have some of the best outreach available to our students. So our faculty are just as invested as you are in getting that degree. So whether it is webinars, Zoom sessions, tutoring, whatever you can think of, our faculty are there to support you both online and on ground to assist you where needed. And lastly, Mary Kate, talk about the campus staff. That's so important because when you're at the campus, you want to be able to ask questions. You want to be able to help connect to Wi-Fi. You have questions about your pathway to graduation. Whatever that might be, our campus staff is readily available to address those questions for you. Next slide, please. Okay, so now you started your degree, and this is something that's near and dear to my heart because this is something that for a student, you want to be able to track your progress to graduation. So we created something at Strayer University called GPS, and GPS stands for Graduation Pathway System. Every student has an opportunity to utilize this system. And what's great is that it is unique to you. Your pathway is what you can see 24/7. So this is what we call an academic self-service planning tool. And what's great is that you can track your progress. So as you can see from the screen in front of you, you could take a look at, what your estimated graduation might be. For those of you who are like me and want to make sure you get that 4.0, you can track your current GPA and determine whether or not you've met any of our honor standards, in this case, a president's list. What's great too, and you can see in the middle, is our tracker towards graduation. So depending on which program that you're in, we'll have the credits that are required to graduate. And as you complete classes at Strayer, for those of you who take Sophia classes, as those classes are posted, you will see that tracker start to move towards that little graduation cap as you see here. So what a wonderful tool to be able to track your progress. Mary Kate had talked about the graduation fund. So you get an opportunity to track the grad funds that you earn and as they are applied in your program. And lastly, for those of you who are bringing in transfer credit, you can see what transfer credit posted and how it's applied to your degree pathway. And also keep in mind, this is important, it's also mobile friendly. So we do have a Strayer app, mobile app, where you can access your same information, What's great too is that you can track some of your registrations and other things related to your financial aid. It's all there in one place for you to see. So again, your feedback is important, and the support that we give you is important. So whatever we can do to help make your journey as successful as we can, that is what we're going to strive to do every step of the way. Can you go next slide, Shireen, please? I'll turn it over to Ben Sibley.
All right, thank you, Ross. I love that picture of GPS, that bright blue. It's one of my favorites. Hopefully you all loved it too. So I was having some fun answering the questions. I think I got 3 or 4 answered there. And I think what I'll do is maybe field one, and then MK and Ross, maybe you all can turn on your videos. And what we'll do is, if there's anything else that you saw in the chat that you want to address, I appreciate whoever had the courage to enter in the question, because I bet many of the other folks on the call probably had the same question. So the most common one I've probably seen, which is a great question, is, look, if you're on the call, I'm pretending I'm on the call. I'm already in an MBA program. Why would I care? Why are you here talking about GPS and all these beautiful support things that you do? And it's a great question. So I'll take it from the master's standpoint. Well, one is, this is, for Nexford, like an extended partnership. So if you wanted to come to the US in the markets that we talked about, Atlanta, Philly, DC, Dallas, Houston, Miami, and you could take classes at one of our campuses as a part of the master's program, or what a lot of our learners do that I talk to, they get an MBA and they're interested in going into AI, cybersecurity, the masters, we call it MSIT, but the masters in IT programs are great. Information systems, there's kind of a whole network of learners that have done both. So that is a thing that many folks are interested in. And I think if any of this, I'll use a term like, oh, this sounds interesting, I don't know if I want to do it, but I want to learn more. We have a link. MK, do we have the link on there? What do they click on?
So, Shireen, if you have our Scheduler 1 links, you could add it to the chat. In addition, you could add your phone number and your name and your email address, and we could immediately today, if you have availability, could have our admissions officers work with you on talking through any questions that you have. Or you could schedule an appointment. Shireen is adding that link now for you to be able to schedule an appointment. So it pulls up the calendar showing our team's availability, and you can match it with yours, and we can work with you directly.
All right, I'll field another one, because this is another good one. How about, I'll go back to MK for this one here. So Alfred, my new friend Alfred, wrote in a great question. Look, I've already completed 16 courses out of 40 at Nexford. Why would I would have to go to, if I went to Strayer, would I have to start over, or do y'all accept transfer credits?
That's a great question. We do. So what we would do is we would work with you directly. We would work on getting your transcripts. You would provide them to us, and then we would take over and get that evaluation done for you at no cost to you. We would work with our registrar's office, and we would see what classes we're going to take over. You would just have to meet the state requirements. So on average, you would just be required to take 12 classes with us. So the rest of those 40 classes could come over as transfer credits, if applicable.
Yes, and there's a really good answer that our registrar, Allie, has joined. Her fingers are working hard in the chat. There's a lot of questions, which I know I would have. Does this class transfer, or what classes would transfer? And I think if you have a smidgen of interest, like you're a little bit interested, I would encourage you to fill out or to go to that link that we have, and you could talk through the possibilities with one of our admissions officers. It's really the best way to have personalized service. We take a lot of pride in the white glove service because the answer will vary for everyone. So it's best to talk to someone and talk about really the advantages of what we have. I see Kathy's on. Kathy, is there other questions that you would like us or any other questions you want to answer for the Nexford team?
Just wanted to add a little bit more to what you all have been saying. We've actually worked with Strayer. They've reviewed our program. So if you're in the bachelor's program, we've identified several of the courses in the Nexford bachelor's program that would transfer in to a Strayer program. We've also identified several courses, like for example, if you've taken an MBA or you've taken half of your MBA and then you want to transfer there and get the rest of it, there's already a good sense of the credits that would transfer in. I did have one question though, and something I wanted to clarify. I believe that you said something about getting the transcripts evaluated. You remember that Nexford is a US institution. So typically US to US, you don't have to get the transcripts evaluated, but perhaps Strayer has a different process than we do. Can somebody clarify that?
I can speak on that. Yes, we would still need to review the transcript. It may not have to go through the NECES member evaluation process, but we would still have to get the official transcript and do the evaluation like we would with any.
Perfect. Yeah, that's the part I wanted to clarify, Allie. I appreciate that. I know the transcript would have to be evaluated, and I know that you'd have to have an official one. So our learners could work with Sandra to get an official transcript sent to Strayer so they could evaluate it. Thank you.
So we can go through a few more questions. I was trying to answer them in the chat. We can take some of these live, I think. We have a great question. Ross, I have one of my new friends is an MBA learner. They asked about a student internship program in the US, which I think we have a slide that talks a little bit about OPT, which is not an internship, but we don't have a direct, like, where we would match you with like Disney and then you would be a student where you would work at Disney. We don't have a program like that. That's a good program though. I just made that up. Maybe we should look into that. And then it says, Ross, can you go through where we have classes available for our friends? There's a question about Tampa specifically, but if there's, can you go over those again?
Sure. So our current, as Ben mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we have 4 specific programs that we offer on ground, which is our Master of Business Administration, Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, Master of Business Administration, and a Master of Science in Information Security and Assurance. So those 4 programs are offered at designated campuses located in the Atlanta, Georgia metropolitan area, or the Dallas metropolitan area, which is in Texas, Houston metropolitan area in Texas, our Miami metropolitan area in Florida, Philadelphia metropolitan area in Pennsylvania, and then we have Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. So at this time, courses are not available for those interested in Tampa, although as our interest continues to grow, as we see more and more students interested in pursuing studies in the United States, we continue to look at other campuses for utilization to help those who don't live in those metropolitan areas pursue a degree with Strayer University. Thank you.
All right. I have 2 great questions that I want to answer on. The first one, MK, is from Abdul. And he asked a great question of, I'm a grad student and I'm not sure what my calculation would be. I've already taken some classes. I'm not sure if I transfer, how much would it cost or what classes I would need to take. What should Abdul's next step be?
Give us your information and we could do an unofficial evaluation with the classes that you've taken thus far. Allie in the registrar's office are ready and prepared to do that work. Again, we have state requirements, so you just in your mind know that you likely will have to take 8 classes with us for a graduate program if your classes transfer over.
And if they want to contact and talk to an admissions officer, like we keep talking about, what's the best way to do that?
You could do one of 2 ways. So one, you could click on that link that Shireen put there and you could schedule an appointment with us. The second way is that you could just type in your name, your phone number, and your email address. Phone number is like the best way for us to get in touch with you because we can talk to you. We want to get to know you. We want to hear about your goals, and we really want to make sure we get your recipe of your future exactly right so we can make sure we're taking care of you properly.
Yeah, and Shireen posted it in the chat right there. I know it was there before, but it's there again if you want to reference that. And then MK, since you're still there, I'm going to go back to you. My new friend Hamza has another fantastic question. You mentioned some kind of discount, like a special scholarship that is just for Nexford.
I did.
What was the percent, and can you say more about that?
Yeah, so because we have such a respected relationship with Nexford, we are giving just Nexford students 50% off of their tuition for their entire education with us.
Very good. Do you see any other, Ross, did you see any other questions, or Allie, anything that you wanted to answer live? Well, while you look, I'll answer another great question. I believe this is from Dorcas. It said, in that case, would you facilitate the travel, like the travel to the US? Here's a great line. It's easier to go to heaven than to get a US visa. So that's a great line. I don't know. I won't comment on the specifics of whether that's accurate, but it's a great line. So do you want to, MK or Allie, do you want to answer like what do you do with that? Like how would you approach that?
So obviously we have to meet the regulations of the government in order to facilitate sponsoring somebody's visa as an F1 status. So we have not only our admissions officer, but designated school officials that are going to partner with you to do the paperwork necessary to help support your want for coming into the country and studying with us. So we would partner with you. Obviously, that's not guaranteed because there's a lot of steps. You're still going to have to work with the embassy to get your visa approved. However, we will partner with you to the best of our capabilities to help support that journey for you. Secondarily, as you wait for that visa and/or if circumstances look a little bit different for you individually, you could take your classes online and be a global student with Strayer University and still get the education provided by us.
Yeah, and if I could add to that, Mary Kate, is that we do have students who fall within those situations where they start their degree overseas while they look for that seamless experience coming into the United States. So you don't lose any progress towards graduation. So again, you're seamlessly moving from overseas to United States and taking your classes. So I think that's important for you to keep in mind too. It wouldn't be a step back because you've already started that journey. You can end accordingly with us in-house.
Yes, well said, Ross.
And a few folks did, MK, a few folks did put their information in the chat. I don't know if you saw that, but it's best to click on the link, but if not, we should try to capture that.
I've been asking Shireen to capture all of it so we
good.
could get in touch with you today and start working with you. We're really excited.
Yeah, and I don't know, I think we've said this about 10 times, but it's important, so I'll say it for the 11th time. It's best to have a conversation.
Yes.
A lot of our prospects will want to come in and like email a question, and we answer that one question, but it just yields more questions. So it's best because we want to make sure like we're really addressing the holistic, and there's a lot of things going on for the international students, and we want to make sure we, address all of them. One key takeaway I heard that I thought was very valuable is in some countries, the embassy appointments in particular are backlogged. It takes a while to come into the country. And if you're interested, let's say you're a BBA student in Nexford and you're just finishing it and you want to take a master's program, a master's in IT, let's say at Strayer, you can start and take a class online while you work through, getting the embassy appointment. And we do help with, we have DSOs that can like facilitate the paperwork and help you for sure, but it is a process and it takes a lot of time. So just to be prepared for that, I think starting online is a great way to do it. Because even if it's in person, I know some of you may not have as much experience with that. Even the classes in person, you're going to do work like on a laptop. You're going to submit some questions. You're going to use the programs that we have. You're going to hear a lot from your faculty. There's a ton of faculty interaction through that. So it's a good gateway to kind of get into the program to start on. Other
And
questions?
I just saw that somebody had said they've already scheduled an appointment. I think that is key to what you all have been talking about, is the best way to get your specific question answered is to schedule that appointment, and they can talk to our learners about the specific things they need to do, what the programs are. So again, folks, if you have specific questions, please click on that link and you can schedule appointment, because some of our learners already have. I just saw a question about, will this presentation be shared? And that's my understanding that it will be shared out. So, I mean, this is pretty exciting stuff that people are moving so quickly to get their questions answered.
I love that. And the most important thing you could take away is you're not just another student. You have every single student has a unique story and unique needs. So by talking to you, and we can even do a Zoom or a Teams meeting so we could see you, which is even better. And we just want to get to know you to make sure that we take care of you the best way that we can. And you have a fully educated understanding of what it would mean to come to Strayer University.
And I will say too, from an on-ground experience perspective, we believe in a sense of community. So as you're coming to take classes, you'll get to meet others that are in the same situation as yourself. And, we like to cohort our students so that you're taking classes with the same students throughout your time here. So again, you build lasting relationships. You get to build those relationships with your faculty, you get to see the familiar faces. And that, again, is key, right, to that experience. So we want to make sure that when you're taking classes with us here in the United States, if that's a direction you wish to take, that you feel that you've made the best decision. So again, whatever we can do to help support you while you're here is what we're going to do.
Two more things. One, great question from a Nexford alum on getting a job. I did post, there's a Strayer.com careers. So it's a career at Strayer. So I think Ross, maybe they want to be like you, follow in your footsteps. So that's a great one. Then there's a question on timing, which is another great question in the Q&A. MK, maybe I'll go back to you for this one.
Yep.
How long will it take Strayer to review MBA course transfers, complete all the processes? Does it take 6 months to review? And because I'm already at Nexford, but I may want to transfer. So just, can you talk, especially for folks that were late to join, like a little bit about that process or how we help?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's going to be a partnership with you and us. So as long as you're an active participant, we will be an active participant with you. Our next classes start on April 1st. So if we could get the paperwork and we could get things worked out, you could potentially start in April. If you're trying to come into the country, you may have to start in July. And depending on embassy appointments, we would have to work together to see how fast that can happen. But again, we could always start you online regardless of the journey that you're trying to take with us. And you could start on April 1st with that. But we want to make sure that you get the answers, you get the right answers, and you get the right roadmap and plan of what your education would look like. So as long as you're actively participating, we've already started working with Nexford on curriculum. So we could try to do it as quickly as possible as long as the paperwork starts to flow in the way that we need it to.
That sounds good. One thing I don't think that we mentioned is that we do have term starts at Strayer. So we have 4 starts throughout the calendar year, and we have 3 left in 2024. So if you're open to, it's a good fit for you to take online, to continue, I guess, taking online courses since you took them at Nexford. April 1st and is the next start. So you could for sure start then. One reason that we positioned this, and Kathy and everyone agreed for us to talk now, is because we do have an April start. So, you know, a little less, 3 weeks away. We also have a July start, and then our fall term, which is what we call it, kind of a big start, is usually the 2nd week in October. So it's in early October. So you can, there's a 3, and all the classes start then, and then they have a, you know, they follow a weekly like cycle. So there's weekly discussions, and we break it down by week, kind of what to do and what you're doing. So hopefully that's helpful. Anything else from the chat that you all would like to address?
It looks like all the questions have been answered, Ben, but that's just, remember, this is the beginning of the conversation. If you're interested, you can get to someone at Strayer to answer your questions directly about you and your situation.
And also, I'll have a plug for my Nexford friends on here. If you're taking classes now, they won't transfer over unless you do well in them. So don't, I know we just had like a drop period. Like, congratulations on not dropping. Stay in the class, get a good grade. That's kind of you know, I talk to learners all the time, and I have 2 kids of my own, and the biggest thing is just show the perseverance, stay in the class, do the work, do well. It'll transfer. Most classes, I can't, Allie, the registrar, will kill me if I say the class will transfer. All classes won't transfer. I know that's true. But if you don't pass the class, then it won't transfer. So you got to make sure you get credit for it in your Nexford classes. And I know we gave a lot of information here. We have folks that can repeat and work with you individually on any of your needs. So please follow the link, which we've said a lot, and you know, look forward to contacting and hopefully getting to know some of them. Kathy, anything else you want us to cover or talk through?
I don't think so. I think this has been very informative. It looks like there's a lot of people that might be interested in speaking with you. As much as we don't want to lose our learners, the whole purpose of this is to create pathways for our current learners to be able to continue their education in programs that we don't offer. So anything we can do, we will. You know that you can contact Sandra, you can contact Jamie Beth, you could contact Nicole if you need to get the link to get directly to Strayer. But thanks so much to the Strayer team. I thought it was a great presentation today with, as you said, a lot of information in a very short period of time.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I consider it an honor to get in front of all of you, the Nexford learners, and be able to share about our university. And, you know, hopefully some of these pathways may be advantageous to you. If there's those of you that don't contact us, I wish you the best of luck at Nexford. Please don't give up, keep finishing, get the degree. That's a big thing. And then if you're interested in some of the different aspects that Strayer can offer, just go to the link, and we love to talk to you about some of the different programs. Sometimes the names, people get caught up on exactly what the name is, but we can talk about what it entails. And most importantly, how it's a pathway for you to better your life. So appreciate the time today. Thank you all. Thank you for having us, Kathy and team.
Bye-bye.